Hi there, everybody, and welcome to Facebook yet again. We are here at the Ottawa Board of Trade and Ottawa Business Journal's BB9, breakfast before 9 o'clock, and it is hustling here today. We have a phenomenal venue here at the Ottawa Conference and Event Center, and of course we have a great speaker that is ready literally to jump on stage here in just a moment's time. Michelle, VP of Marketing and Public Affairs at BDC. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Morning.
To make some time for us. Yes. I know it's a busy morning. You can hear the people are excited. And I wanted you to take a little bit of time here to just give us a little preview of what you'll be talking about today. Because I know there has been a lot of developments. There is some exciting new products and, of course, services that's being rolled out with BDC on a consistent basis, but more so even this week, specifically geared towards supporting small and medium, large businesses as well. Now, one of the key aspects I know you're going to talk about is digital maturity and what that really means. So maybe you can share with me a little bit what BDC have put in place to support that term, digital maturity.
So fundamentally, this week is Small Business Week, and every year we chose a team to help us guide in terms of all the events that we hold across the country. So this year's theme is around digital. And the reason we went into that particular topic is because we hear a lot of firms talk about the importance of going digital. In fact, it's on everybody's agenda, talking to various CEOs across the country. At the same time, we wanted to see whether there was a real impact on performance, depending on your digital maturity or not. So we said, you know, as opposed to just going intuitively about this, let's do some research. So what I'll do today is present the findings of a key research we did that will basically answer the question, is digital maturity impacting performance? And if so, how could you assess your own digital maturity? So quite interesting. People will have a chance this morning to go online and assess their own digital maturity.
So that's such a fascinating question, because I don't think we really thought about digital and using the digital world and how much we sometimes use it and how much it is a part of our business. So it's wonderful that you have engaged with business in that shape. Maybe you can share with us a little bit, maybe what is the first step that you think companies can potentially take, or even an entrepreneur for that matter, when they want to drive growth through digital technologies?
Well, the first question they have to ask themselves is, how will digital enable what they're currently doing? So the why, answering the why digital is very important. You know, it's not just about going digital for the sake of being digital. There needs to be elements of value add to your proposition, to your clients, whether you're in the service provider or product provider. So understanding the contribution digital can have to your existing business model is very important, and allows you to kind of define an end destination. And then the second advice is to tell companies, you know, take small steps. You need to learn to walk before you run. And start small projects, learn, adjust, and pivot, and then ultimately build on that momentum to ultimately go through your digital transformation.
Now, you know, we're in Canada. We're fortunate. We have infrastructure. We're known for being, you know, very much so ingrained within digital. I mean, you know, the largest business park in Canada is just up the road, so to speak. So maybe you could share with me what obstacles have you noticed that Canadian companies are dealing with when it comes to digitizing?
So there are many obstacles, and those will depend on the size of the business you're talking about. So if you're talking about a small business, well, the number one obstacle is their lack of scale. I mean, the fact that they're small, so they don't have a lot of financial resources. Oftentimes, they don't have IT resources internally, or if they do, they have very limited resources. The other one also, if you're a small business, I mean, there's a plethora, there's tons of new technology, so which one should you choose? So they kind of, sometimes they will freeze because there's so much options, they're not sure which one they should be choosing. Now, for the bigger companies, there are also obstacles, and one of the key obstacles I'll talk about this morning is, do these companies have the culture, the digital culture that's required to enable and use those technologies? Because in our maturity model, we look at two components. One is tech usage, and the other one is a digital culture. And it's the combination of those two elements that will make those transformations successful. But unless they have a culture that will allow humans to use the power of technology, well, otherwise the technology investment will go to waste.
So when you say, and I'd like maybe you can kind of dive into that a little bit deeper, just sharing with us what do you see, what does a digital culture mean when a company has a digital culture?
Well, it's an interesting thing, and this is something that we define more specifically. But for instance, it's the openness of leaders to do a digital transformation. They're understanding that the dynamics of the market are shifting, and they need to do something about it. It's also the risk-taking culture. It's a culture where, you know what, you're not going to succeed on the first time you do this. And a lot of the successful companies basically give themselves the ability to fail. So you need to understand that you'll try, adjust, pivot, and sometimes you'll fail, but at least it's through trying that ultimately you'll find the right combination. So that culture, the third piece also is making sure that the employees basically are enabled and have the ability to work, and you listen to them as well in developing the design of the technology and so forth, because ultimately technology are to be used by humans, either your clients or your employees.
Now, I mean, there's just so much evolution taking place in the digital world. There's so many innovative companies out there. But what do you feel when it comes to digitizing business, small business, medium business? What do you feel is some of the most disruptive technologies that's out there? I mean, there's so many. There's a new disruptive technology around the corner, but what do you feel really the next disruptive technology can look like?
You know what, again, there's many of those, and so it's always difficult to answer this one. But what I would say, it's a combination of big data with artificial intelligence and machine learning. So the combining power of those two technologies is just amazing in terms of the application and the potential this has. And at the same time, even if you're a small business, well, those technologies will, for instance, allow you to enable and automate the booking process for appointment if you're a hairdresser, for instance. So there are very concrete applications of those technologies that people will discover. But what I would encourage entrepreneurs to do is read about this and see how these technologies could ultimately help them in some of the day-to-day tasks that they have.
Now, I have one more question for you, and this is before we get you on stage here. And if you're watching this, you are here today. We're at the Ottawa Conference and Event Center. We're getting ready for BB9 that is put together by the Ottawa Board of Trade and the Ottawa Business Journal. And I'm here with Michel, the VP of Marketing and Public Affairs with BDC. He's getting ready to go on stage. So one more question for you. If there was one technology, you would say any small business owner, you should have this. You should have this type of technology. What would it be?
I'd say quite simply, cloud computing. And the reason I say this is because cloud computing is democratizing access to technology. And so small businesses nowadays, I mean, if you use the analogy of electricity, well, they used to have need to have the infrastructure, the IT team internally. Now with cloud, you can just plug and play. So if you want access to CRM, well, in the good old days, you needed to onboard and bring in a team, and they would do the integration and everything else. Now you just go online, you book a license on the cloud, and you have access to that technology through any mobile device. So it reduces the cost of entry, reduces the cost of infrastructure, and basically plays as a level playing field for the small business. So I'd say go cloud, assess what the potential is there, and it's going to help you quite a lot.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Yes,
I am so excited to once again see you speak here today and share your insight. And thank you so much for BDC. I know you're a big supporter of Small Business Week, and you do so much to support business. So thank you so much for your time today.
And happy Small Business Week, everyone.
Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you soon.